there are several states, including the state of Florida, which have recently changed their state voting laws to restrict opportunities and access to vote relative to presenting photo identification cards, limiting the early voting in the states, and making it more difficult, including penalizing those who are engaged in the voter registration process, to the point where the League of Women Voters for the first time is pulled out of the state of Florida and is not engaging in voter registration because of their new law and the penalties associated with it. I know that under the Voting Rights Act, in 2 different articles, the Department of Justice has the authority to review these state laws to determine whether they have in fact, or would in fact, disenfranchise voters. Can you tell me whether this is underway or whether or not it will be reviewed in a timely manner?
We have, you're correct, in 2 instances. One, I can't answer that question specifically, but I can say that with regard to Section 5 and Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, this Department of Justice will be aggressive in looking at those jurisdictions that have attempted, for whatever reason, to restrict the ability of people to get to the polls. I think a fundamental question is really raised. Who are we as a nation? Shouldn't we be coming up with ways in which we encourage more people to get to the polls to express their views? And I'm not talking about any one particular state effort, but more generally, I think for those who would consider trying to use methods, techniques to discourage people from coming to the polls, that's inconsistent with what we say we are as a nation. And I would hope that those kinds of efforts would not be engaged in. And again, that's separate and apart from what we have to do as the enforcers with regard to Section 5 and Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act.